About a month or so ago, I started seeing some horror websites talking about this indie movie called The Ice Cream Truck. It was touted as more of a psychological thriller than a straight-up horror film, which piqued my interests. I looked into it some more and discovered it was written and directed by Megan Freels Johnston, who's the granddaughter of Elmore Leonard. If you don't know, Leonard was an amazingly talented novelist and screenwriter. Some of his best-known books are Get Shorty, Out of Sight, Ombre, and just many more. The movie is about a woman named Mary who moves back to her old suburban neighborhood after her husband gets a new job. She arrives at the house a few days early by herself while her husband and kids have to finish up some things at the old house before they get there. Mary meets the neighbors who are all a little bit weird. She's trying to pass the time, and while she's there alone, she does some things that remind her of when she was young. Oh, and while all this is going on, there's a guy in an ice cream truck driving around who may be murdering people. This one really surprised me. The poster screams horror, but I remember they were pushing it as a psychological thriller, and the movie fell somewhat in between. It wasn't particularly scary, it wasn't a massive head trip, but it was very entertaining. I loved how as soon as Mary arrives, almost everyone in town is acting just a little bit off. It played up the weird things going on in suburbia trope well. This wasn't the town with a dark secret, this was just middle-aged women addicted to booze and pills who are too nosy for their own good. Deanna Russo, who played Mary, was incredibly likable. She got along better with the younger kids in town than their busybody mothers. It was interesting to see this woman trying to take advantage of her time alone and reclaim a little bit of her lost youth. The funny thing is, the Ice Cream Man was really a backdrop to all this. The main crux of the story was Mary trying to pass the time, waiting for her family, while outsider forces were vying for her attention. The nosy neighbors are spying on her, and the neighbors' kids want her to smoke pot and get in trouble with them. The Ice Cream Man is weird and does seem to show up when things are slowing down. During the film, it's unclear as to what his part is in all this, but it's revealed in the end. Speaking of, without going into spoilers, at first I was put off by the ending, but as I thought about it, I liked it because really, it made the most sense. It wrapped everything up and made me rethink what happened. Although the last few frames were needlessly tacked on, and I felt out of place. And that's really my biggest complaint. It wasn't a final jump scare, just a final piece that didn't need to be there, or at least I thought it didn't need to be there. The Ice Cream Truck is a good little indie thriller. Perhaps a bit more drama than some may like, but I thought they balanced it well. A few minor scares, a good story, and a very relatable lead. Slow at times, but never boring, and the weirdness in the neighborhood kept me hooked. An interesting movie that shows a lot of potential from the writer-director. I hope she does more.